I just went to my first Pokemon pre-release event and it was pretty cool. Let's break it down. So then I have a couple packs from the event that we can open as well. So I'll quickly go over what a pre-release event is for the people that don't know. So essentially it's just a chance to give players of the game a chance to get their hands on the newest set before release, try out some of the cards, and have some, casual matches. The way it works is each player will get given this build and battle box, which comes with like a pre-made 40 card deck, but each deck will have a different promo on top. So I actually got the Mimikyu, Team Rocket's Mimikyu promo. So this was the promo of my deck. You see it has the Destined Rivals stamp, and then that will come with some cards to play around the Mimikyu. Well, kind of. And then there's 4 promo cards: the Mimikyu, Gyarados, Typhlosion, and I can't remember what it's called, Tyranitar. Yes, and that is not the whole deck though. You can have combinations of decks. So you'll have that as your primary, say Tyranitar for example, and then you can have the second half of your deck be the Gyarados deck, and then you can have any combination of those 4. So I think there's 16, if the math works out there, 16 possible different decks you could get. And as you can see, I got the Mimikyu deck with the Gyarados deck as my secondary. And then you also get 4 packs in here. Obviously, I already have opened them, so I don't have these anymore. But you will then be able to open those packs and use the cards from those packs to modify the 40 card deck. However, it needs to stay at 40 cards. Pre-release event format is 40 compared to the usual 60 of actual TCG games. And then I forgot to mention, this would have probably been good to pull out. Gives you some tips for the deck you get. So you can see I got the Gyarados Weezing combination, but the Weezing was my main. I got the promo for the Weezing because you can get the stamped Gyarados as the promo at the front, which I didn't get. And then, well, these are cards I didn't use. So how about we go through my deck first, actually. So I was running the Mimikyu. Obviously it can't use its attack, unfortunately. No Terra Pokemon in this set, so unfortunate. I was kind of hoping for any other promo, but it does have free retreat, which kind of came in handy for me. And then I was running the Coughing, 3 Coughing, 2 Weezing, and then some other Team Rocket's Pokemon, as I have some Team Rocket supporter cards I'll go over in a second too. This probably I didn't even use, I don't think. It's not too good. I did speak to someone there that said I could have probably removed that. But Rattata I put in just because Raticate's attack, 90 damage for 1 energy is really good. Obviously there is the risk that if you flip both coins and they are tails, that it kills itself, but the chances of both being tails, obviously the odds are on your side. And yeah, worth the risk, I thought, to throw in, Hail Mary. But I didn't actually end up using that either. And then, so that's one half of my deck, Pokemon-wise. And then obviously I got the Gyarados the other side, so I loaded up with 3 Staryus and 2 Starmies to evolve into those. Really strong card. Yeah, it does 80 more damage if it evolves that turn. And then 1 Magikarp, 1 Gyarados. So that's unfortunately all I got. But this is quite strong if you discard Misty's Pokemon, does more damage, which is cool. And then 1 Lapras, which you can use to search your deck for Misty's Pokemon. So, there's a lot of synergy in these new cards. And then these are the Team Rocket's supporter cards I was talking about. So, they all revolve around Team Rocket Pokemon. Search your deck for up to 3 Team Rocket Pokemon basics. Can only use this if a Team Rocket Pokemon was knocked out. So, yeah, and then some other just general supporting cards that people will probably be familiar with if you play the game. And then my energy. So, my actual experience playing, I was quite nervous going in, as I obviously it was my first time, but everyone was very welcoming. I explained, I was like, I'm new to this. If you could, be patient with me, but they're all very understanding, very nice. Obviously, they said that if they're not going to be horrible because they want people to join the hobby, the more people that play, the more events and such that they'll get. So yeah, first initial worries out the window. Everyone was lovely, it made me feel at ease instantly. And then the actual matches, it's just three games, half an hour each, so an hour and a half basically. It's not, there's 16 people there, but you don't play everyone. It's not like an actual tournament that would go on for a while. It's just based off of like who wins the most. So if someone goes 3-0, then they'll be at the top of the leaderboard, for example. In my first game, I got up against an Ethan's Typhlosion, which I was a bit worried about, as I've heard that that's kind of the deck everyone wants, quite strong. However, I managed to win my first game. So I got my coughing out, and they were loading up, their Cyndaquil, and getting ready, evolving it into Quilava, and they didn't want, while we were both kind of building our bench, they weren't attacking because they were concerned. If the ability of this is basically if it gets damaged while in the active spot, I can search my deck for up to 2 Pokemon that have coughing in the name, so 2 more coughings essentially, and put them on my bench. And the reason this is good is because when you evolve it into Wheezing, it does 40 more damage for each Pokemon in play that is, each coughing or Wheezing in play. So you want to tank with coughing, pull out all the coughings from your deck, and then evolve it and do a bunch of damage. Now they obviously knew that, so they weren't attacking. So this was actually good for me because it made me be able to stall for a couple of turns, or a few turns. And then once they did get their Typhlosion, they killed it off, obviously. But by that time, I had a Staryu and Starmie in hand, or I probably had this on the bench with an energy attached already, I think. And that let me promote, and I could have, with the type advantage. Obviously this is really good deck to have, or this half of a deck to have against Typhlosion. So with the evolved damage, so it does 60, but because I evolve at that turn, it does another 80, so it's 140 damage, and then double damage against fire types, so there's 280 damage, which is obviously enough to kill the Ethan's Typhlosion. So that's how I managed to take out his first Typhlosion. And then I can't remember what happened exactly, but I definitely got in a bit of trouble. He had another Typhlosion ready on the bench, basically. He just one-shot my Starmie, and then I think I was using the Mimikyu free retreat, obviously in between my knockouts, which was really nice because it gave me the chance to see what card I could pull before I made any decisions. I didn't pull either of these, unfortunately. So then I think I was just using some of these Pokemon to just delay, I think maybe a Murkrow I put out. And obviously he just killed it. And then I thought all was lost. He had 1 prize card left. And I managed to use, I think it was either a Nest Ball or the Great Ball, can't remember which one. I used something to pull another Misty Staryu, and I already had the Starmie in my hand. Or did I? I can't remember. Sorry. But I got 3 paralyzes in a row with the coin flip on Starmie. And I don't think I would have had the Misty, because otherwise I would have just evolved. But it actually let me live. It paralyzed the Typhlosion 3 turns in a row. He couldn't do anything. And then I managed to get the Starmie and kill the second Typhlosion. And I think I had, obviously there's only 4 prize cards, I didn't mention that, sorry, in a 40 card deck event. I already had 2 down, I can't remember, I must have killed something else other than Typhlosion. And then that second Typhlosion gave me my 3rd, so I still had 1 prize card left, it wasn't over yet. However, my opponent had ran through his whole deck, pulling cards, using Ethan's adventures and everything to get the Typhlosion as strong as possible, and they just ran out of cards, so I just won after killing that Typhlosion, which was lucky for me. However, that is kind of where my win streak ended, unfortunately, as my next 2 games I faced the Typhlosion deck, and they both just got it out really quickly. The ability on the Typhlosion, I'll put it on screen. I can't remember exactly how it works, but I think it just does 20 damage to every Pokemon on the board in Pokemon checkups. So between each player's turn, it put two damage tokens on each Pokemon in a pre-release format like this, where you don't have any like strong Pokemon, really no EXs or anything. Everyone's quite low on health. It was only 2 or 3 turns, and then they were dead, because it's my turn, goes to him, 20 damage on them, goes back to me, another 20 damage, and then killed 3 or 4 Pokemon all in one go. And yeah, that was me. But done both games, both the same fate for my last 2 games, unfortunately. It is what it is. I had fun. The packs were good. I also pulled... Well, I could have actually used this. I didn't realize, because I didn't have like any fighting type Pokemon in my deck, so I didn't even think about it. But the colorless energy, I mean, that's useless too. I think that's probably why I didn't use it. But just to have a tank as a basic, you don't need to evolve it or anything. And then I could have just put 1 fighting energy in for this. And this is really strong, like against, Typhlosions or Tyrannitars, because they're both stage 2 Pokemon. So that would have actually been really good. And stopped me just dying really quickly. But, you live and you learn. And I managed to actually get an illustration rare out of one of my packs in my build and battle. Illustration rare Yanma, which is cool. Didn't end up using it because it doesn't fit anywhere within my deck with the cards I got. But cool to get. And then I can go through the other cards. These are the cards I actually pulled in the packs. This would have been a really good inclusion, actually. I spoke to the last guy I played, and he was like, this would have been... he definitely would have included this. Because it's a nice snipe. Like, if I do damage to someone on the active and they retreat, good way to kill. Or just because people have low HP even, so good to just hit people on the bench. And obviously this goes with my deck anyway. Dark type and Team Rocket synergy. Another Staryu and another Coughing. I feel like I should have loaded this up, and maybe I was kind of maining the Staryu side of my deck in this tournament, but it would have still been the best against the Typhlosion, so it's good to have, but I think I should have just kept it as a backup in case I went against the Typhlosion and fully ran with this and had as many Coughings as possible. I think that could have actually been quite strong, especially against the Tyranitar decks that I struggled against. And then a couple more Team Rocket Pokemon. And then, obviously fire types I can't use. These would have been good in the Ethan's Typhlosion deck. Roserade, a lot of these, obviously I didn't even get the... Roselia I didn't get, but it doesn't matter anyway. Grass type wouldn't have really fit. This I could have put in. Obviously the colorless energy would be good for the first ability to just stall my opponent, remove energy from their active. And then if I just included a lightning, that would have also been good, because I have Team Rocket. I had 1 Team Rocket's energy in my deck, so that could have actually been quite strong. But another thing to that I learned. And then obviously there's a Quilava, a bunch of stuff I couldn't really use. I did have another copy of each of these Team Rocket supporters, which I definitely should have put in. Also, the third guy I played, I asked him for his opinion. He was like, I definitely would have included all of these. I think just as many trainers as you can get, just to help with card draw and stuff. So that was a mistake I made there. But yeah, so that's what I pulled from the packs. And speaking of packs, I got these at the end of the event too. Let me move that deck out of the way. So I thought we could do a little cool pack opening too, see if we can get anything else. I do really love the artwork on these packs. But yeah, it would be nice to have another lovely illustration rare or something to go along with that Yanma, or even just some other cool cards to maybe play with, because I really did enjoy that as a first time. Oh dear, that's a bad Oh, sorry. Bad corner there. So hopefully, I mean, I'd still love something good, but it would be quite unfortunate. Team Rocket's at Blitbug. Larvitar, there you go. That's from the Tyranitar line. Stevens Beldum. Another Starmie. Oh, Rapidash, cool. Diplin. Okay, Kangaskhan, and oh, it's an EX. Shame about the corner. Oh, Zetitan EX. Okay. Plays an item or supports card from the hand, prevent all effects that card done to this Pokemon. That's quite good. Oh, and Stadium Attack. Okay. Not too bad. Playable card, maybe. Next pack. Oh, got the Mewtwo on this one. Let's see. I would say maybe we could get that Mewtwo SIR. However, people were opening their packs at the end of the event and someone pulled an SIR. So I don't have too much hope. I believe you usually only get one SIR in a booster box, which is an unfortunate. But, you know, I'm holding out hope for some nice illustration rare maybe. Ethan's Adventure, yeah, so this is what the first opponent used. And it's quite strong. Like, search your deck for up to 3 in any combination of Ethan's Pokemon and basic Fire Energy and put them into your hand. So it's obviously good for just searching through, like, you know, getting your main Pokemon out and Fire Energy to use with them early. And then the Typhlosion, if you don't know, does more damage based on how many of these are in your discard pile. So it's got really good synergy together. I guess the only issue is you don't want to go through your deck too quickly like my opponent did. Even easier in a pre-release format with 40 cards. This is one of the new Ogopons. I think there's 4 new Ogopons as well in this set, right? I saw an article about it, which is cool. Oops, sorry. Heat Rotom, Clamperl, and oh, Misty Gyarados Hollow. Nice. Well, now I have 2 of those. I can actually maybe run it successfully, more consistently. Okay, and final pack. Come on, Ethan's Ho-Oh. Please give me something. I'm probably never going to be able to get my hands on any of these packs ever again. So that was something I didn't mention. Just going to a pre-release, like a nice way to get your hands on some of the packs, to be honest. Because, yeah, as I said, I can't imagine these being in stock anytime soon. Around me, at least. Stephen's a Matang. Nice. I can play that. Nidoqueen. Nidoran. Come on. Give me something. No. It's not looking too hot. No. Hydrapple. Okay. Well, I did get an illustration rare in my Build and Battle box, so... you know, don't want to be too greedy. Yeah, just as some final thoughts, I really enjoyed it. As I said, good way to get your hands on some packs as well before the set even comes out. And yeah, everyone was so nice, really fun. Would definitely go again. If you enjoyed this journey through my first pre-release, feel free to hit the like button and subscribe for more like pack openings or whatever I decide to upload, to be honest. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.